What's up, everybody? My name's Big Cam and welcome back to another Comically Boston weekly nerdy news episode where we talk and discuss everything that happened over the last week. And today we are talking about, you saw the title and thumbnail, Doomsday? And we'll get to it more by the end of the episode, but some big Marvel delays that we'll talk about, and then not a huge crazy week for news, but some films did start to come out over the last weekend, and the Cannes Film Festival started, so there's a bunch of new movie posters and news coming out, so we'll discuss a bunch of the posters that have come out over the last week, and things that I want to go see real soon, and we'll jump right on into it with Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning is already past $100 million over the first couple days at the box office. It is a $400 million production, one of the biggest ever in history. And if it's Tom Cruise's final reckoning, final Mission Impossible, it might as well go out with a bang. But I think this movie will end up making money, especially if it's as good as some people are saying. Some people aren't liking it, but I'm hearing that the third act is really incredible. Either way, for the people that didn't like it, they still were like, hey, that third act was incredible. But currently, with 198 critic reviews, it is sitting at 79% Rotten Tomato score, which means it's certified fresh. I don't know where the cutoff for certified fresh or rotten is, but either way, 79%, passing grade in my book, about an 80%, 8 out of 10 people like this movie, that type of thing. But it is a 2-hour and 49-minute runtime, so that's pretty extensive. I was going to try and go see it today, but this is Sunday when I'm recording this, so The Last of Us Season 2 comes out tonight, and I've been kind of sick all weekend, so I haven't been able to get anything done. I don't know where it came from. It just all of a sudden I felt like a pile of dicks, and I feel like terrible. But I am going to see Lilo and Stitch later today with my buddy, and we already had plans to do that, so I'm going to hop myself up on some medication and hopefully get over there for 2 hours and be able to breathe through the movie, which I hope I will be able to do. But that looks decent. I think the original Lilo, the animated Lilo and Stitch, is still going to be way better. But I've been doing a little bit of a Mission Impossible rewatch, gearing up for the Final Reckoning, so stay tuned for some time over the next week. A Mission Impossible Final Reckoning review will be coming your way because my mother and I have been dying to see this. So stay tuned for that coming soon. Another movie poster people are talking about and some kids must really love is that Zootopia is getting a sequel, and Zootopia 2 is coming to theaters November 26th of this year, later this year. And I don't know if I've ever seen Zootopia. Maybe once, on TV or something like that, but word is that the snake in this Zootopia 2 is voiced by Ke Huy Quan. Some people know him as OB from Loki or Data from the Goonies. Ke Huy Quan also was in Everything Everywhere All at Once a couple years ago. Absolute legend. So I love him. I think his voice is hilarious. So him being a snake in this animated animal movie, Zootopia 2, I'm here for it. Now, we talked a little bit last week about Spike Lee's newest film, Highest to Lowest, starring A$AP Rocky and Denzel Washington, but its Rotten Tomatoes score debuted with 11 critic scores. It debuted at 91%. Not bad, It's described as a mystery thriller, and it comes out August 22nd. So I will definitely be checking that one out when it comes out. But also a movie that people have been really talking about and keeps getting talked about with the trailer, that every trailer that drops, people are like, that looks really good. And from the same director, cinematographer of Top Gun Maverick, so the same guy that captured those planes and ripping around, decided, hey, how do I capture speed with vehicles and capture how crazy these vehicles going at high speed really are, and decided to make this F1 movie, this Formula One movie with Brad Pitt, and this is coming June 27th, so right around the corner. Here's a second poster for it as well. Brad Pitt, Damon, Idris, Kerry Condon, Javier Bardem, so it's got a decent cast to it as well. And then I think Lewis Hamilton and some of the other Formula One actual racers were helping them film, and driving the cars. Pretty insane. But Brad Pitt actually jumping into behind the wheel of one of these things, I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to check that one out. maybe at home, but it will be in theaters June 27th. Now, a movie I am 100% going to be seeing in theaters is Jurassic World Rebirth, coming July 2nd. Oh, right around the corner. Scarlett Johansson's going to be hanging off a cliff, you know, fighting winged dinosaurs, pterodons, or whatever they want to call them. There's an incubator dual container where it looks like a little baby dinosaur is going to be like your popcorn bucket for Jurassic World Rebirth, and it looks like it might also come with like a drink spot and a popcorn spot with like a little baby dinosaur on the inside. Creepy. And they also released some cinema posters for Jurassic World, where this is the Dolby Cinema poster with the crazy new mutated D-Rexodon or something like that in the background, reaching out for them with a red glow. Ooh, that's going to be scary. They also have this 4DX poster with the Mosasaur, and that scene's going to be nuts, where the Mosasaur is probably going to capsize that boat or knock them into the water with it. Oh my god. Imagine a Megalodon if it was a crocodile. Like, oh. Here's another shot of a Screen X poster with that giant pterodon looking like it's about to eat Scarlett Johansson's. And then the final poster here we have for Real D 3X, or Real D 3D, and this poor scientist getting pushed up against the glass from this like crazy dinosaur that is described as like a half xenomorph, T-Rex, and Rancor from Star Wars. So this thing's just going to be devastating. Like, I don't know, this thing's going to be terrifying, ugly, but also like formidable, it seems like. Oh, I would not want to be on the other side of that thing. Over the weekend I did a caught stealing Darren Aronofsky's newest film. I did a caught stealing trailer reaction, and this movie starring Austin Butler and Zoe Kravitz, Matt Smith, and a bunch of other people. But it is coming August 29th, 2025, and Fandango released a couple exclusive preview images, and for Caught Stealing being one of the movies that they released images for. And if you guys haven't seen that trailer reaction, go check that out. But that movie looks really good and one of my most anticipated movies of 2025. But honestly, anything that Austin Butler does, I'm going to be here for. I'm also going to be here July 11th for James Gunn's Superman in this Fandango exclusive preview of Superman in the Fortress of Solitude. I guess we just haven't been here in a long time for Superman. Like, when's the last Superman movie we had? Over a decade, probably. David Cornsweet in his Superman suit looks really good. I do love that Superman is returning to his Trunks look with the golden buckle. Just looks really good. Colors pop so well. But also, July 25th, after Superman, we have the Fantastic Four First Steps coming out, and we have another shot here of Johnny and Reed in the Fantastic Four spaceship, and the like door behind them looks like a giant starfish with a 4 in the center of it, and you can see their like spacesuits that they're wearing, and they're like floating, so they must be in space, but they don't have their helmets on. Very interesting. Well, like this movie, I have an idea of what's going to happen, but still I have like no idea what's going to happen. So I'm like, oh my god, where could this go? And how, like, there's so many ideas. Until I see that July 25th, my mind's just going to be racing, like, where could this go? How could it tie to this? And how does it connect to Thunderbolts? And how do they connect to Avengers Doomsday? And like, oh, it's all just craziness. But speaking of Fantastic Four, we did have a leaked image of, I believe his name is Ralph Ineson, but he's going to be playing Galactus, and we have our leaked look of what live-action Galactus might look like. I mean, I'm not sure if this is 100% confirmed, but I mean, it kind of looks like his face sculpt underneath there, and I think this was confirmed from some toy that got released. But, you know, side-by-side comparison of a comic book accurate Galactus versus the live-action Galactus, it's pretty spot on, you know. And apparently this guy's going to shrink down and be walking through New York and having to fight the Fantastic Four. Like, I'm excited. I can't wait to see this. But just over the last week or two, Andor Season 2 just wrapped, and breakdowns for that season are on the channel currently, so go check that out. But one of the actors who played Willman tweeted out we need Battlefront 3 so bad, and now Battlefront 3 is trending, and EA and everyone keeps tweeting at EA Sports to make Battlefront 3, and I'm kind of here for it. Battlefront 2 was a great game, and it should have been updates, and you know, it should have kept coming out. Like, it didn't even need a third game. It just really needs like a really good update that, you know, they shouldn't make us pay for. Kind of like The Last of Us Part 2, you know, the Left Behind DLC, or like the No Return. I don't think they made us pay for those. They just all of a sudden came out with it, and they were like, hey, thank you guys for playing this game. We love you guys so much. Here you go. And I think Disney and EA are just like too money hungry, so like the game wasn't making them a bunch of, you know, sales on skins and stuff, so they're like, oh well, we'll just cancel it. People love this game, and you know, it's pretty much Call of Duty, right? Like, if you want the itch of shooting a blaster and fighting in a war and, like, you know, winning with your rebel team or winning with the Empire and beating the rebels, you know, vice versa, this scratches that itch perfectly. Like, there's time to time that I go back and play, you know, Battlefront 2 just because I wanted to run around on Kashyyyk and I wanted to play as a Wookiee, you know, or something like that. Like, there's things that, like, I've gotten so far away from Call of Duty just because, like, I don't care anymore, and Star Wars is something I'm passionate about. So, like, I would love to play more Star Wars Battlefront, but now there's people that have been playing that game for 10 years that are super try-hard at it and just have really figured out the game, so now they just destroy everybody in it. Which, hey, it's probably fun for them, but I'm going to stick to more of like my solo game, like the Star Wars Outlaws, where it's like a solo player, or Star Wars, the Jedi Survivor game, or Jedi Fallen Order. Both of those are games that, like, anyone can play, but you're not playing with a bunch of people, you know, you're just playing alone. You're playing on your time. You can pause, walk away, come back. Like, those are my type of games, you know. So I'm dying for Battlefront 3, but I'm dying for Jedi Survivor sequel, you know, like the third Jedi game with Cal Kestis a lot more. And we've been talking about the next Marvel show coming up, which is Ironheart, but it caught a new poster, and just reminding us that Ryan Coogler is the executive producer, and they really keep slapping his name on there. Like, hey, don't forget, Ryan Coogler just did Sinners, but he also had something to do with this Ironheart project that should have came out 3 years ago. But I'm optimistically curious, you know, like, I'm like, all right, New York, Boston, Chicago, like, it should be like jumping around a little bit, but also coming in June, so right around the corner. We're less than a month out for this, you know, like, that's exciting stuff. And we got our confirmed image of, like, her suit, which looks cool, like the orange lights of the eyes, where weren't they like more like white, like her hand pulsar lights were like the color of his eyes as well. But I kind of like that it's orange lights on her eyes, orange light on her chest, a little bit of paint job on her chest, a little bit of paint job on like her pulsars up on her shoulders. Very interesting indeed. But it does kind of look like the more Iron Man 1 clunky, heavy iron suit, you know, and I'm digging the fact that we're gonna get somebody back in an iron suit for a character in Marvel. Like, that's gonna be cool. But the biggest topic of today, and the delays from Marvel that we need to talk about, and the potential new cultural movement of Doomsday that might be like Barbenheimer, which we'll talk about in 1 second. But it has been confirmed that Spider-Man Brand New Day will now be coming out before Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, because Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars have both been delayed 6 months. So they were coming out in May, so now they're going to be coming out December 18th of 2026 for Doomsday and December 17th of 2027 for Secret Wars. And Secret Wars might still get pushed back again, like that's still too far out for them to even be thinking about that. But to me, all this really means is that they got an extra 6 months to do whatever they need to do for Avengers Doomsday. You know, get the cast together. You know, there was rumors that there's been, you know, struggles to get contract signed for characters like Spider-Man between Marvel and Sony, trying to negotiate where Spider-Man will show up, and they want him in Avengers Doomsday, but Sony's like probably holding out, wanting more money, or probably trying to say like, hey, if Spider-Man's in Avengers Doomsday, then Doomsday is Sony's movie, right? And Marvel's like, are you guys retarded? You know, like, Sony's so dumb. I really hope Sony just goes out of business so that Marvel can get Spider-Man back, but I know that will never happen because Spider-Man is keeping Sony in business, and if they didn't have PlayStation, they would just be a garbage company. But Avengers Doomsday is now December, so we're now over a year out, where we were like less than a year out. Now we're a year and a half out from Avengers Doomsday, but July, you know, so we're probably going to go a year, because there was also a February release date of an untitled Marvel project that's now not happening, you know, so maybe they have a secret project that they've been working on that they're going to put out. I doubt it, but so if it's Fantastic Four this July, and then we don't get another Marvel movie for a year until July of the following year, and that's just Spider-Man, and then Spider-Man's in Doomsday later in December, the only two films for Marvel next year, I doubt that. I really do. I think maybe we can get a Thor 5 in there, a Shang-Chi 3, a Doctor Strange 3, or Shang-Chi 2, Doctor Strange 3, you know, like, I feel like there's plenty of movies that they could put out. You know, even Blade should have been getting worked on by now, but I don't know. I feel like they're maybe just trying to focus on the current movies and then just focus on Avengers Doomsday, Secret Wars, get their Infinity War Endgame for this saga over with, and then move on to bringing in the X-Men and rebooting that and doing everything after all of this, you know what I mean? I'm still here for this saga, you know what I mean? Like, I like this saga, and I want to see these characters fleshed out more. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing a Midnight Suns, you know, seeing more Moon Knight. There's a ton of characters that I want to see more of. Werewolf by Night, Man-Thing, Elsa Bloodstone, you know, like, there's plenty of characters, plenty of projects that they need to come back. I mean, Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, like, I want to see them again. Daredevil Season 2 still in the works right now, so that's going to be coming out. Like, will Daredevil, you know, it was just in New York. It didn't tie into the Thunderbolts, which was also in New York, but, like, I feel like they need to tie in Daredevil Season 2 also to the events of Thunderbolts, but also into Spider-Man and Doomsday. Like, and if Kingpin and Charlie Cox are not in Doomsday, I mean, maybe they're just not in New York, but it just wouldn't make sense to not see them there, wouldn't it? You know, like, I don't know, maybe that's just my thoughts. But now, with Avengers Doomsday set back to December 18th of 2026, that is also the release date for Dune 3, Dune Messiah. So, Avengers Dunesday instead of Doomsday? Is this going to be the next Barbenheimer movement, where people are going to be seeing Dune and Avengers Doomsday in back-to-back you know, showings? I doubt it, because both of those films are probably going to be pushing 3 hours apiece, you know, so that would be a long 6-hour movie runtime, you know what I mean? Like, plus trailers, you know, you're talking a minimum of like a 7-8 hour day at the movie theater. Like, that's a full work shift. Like, I mean, I will probably see both, but probably on separate days. And honestly, I don't know which one I would want to see first. I mean, I'm dying to see Avengers Doomsday, but Dune Part 2 was so friggin' good that I'm going to be in Dune Part 3 for sure. But I'm positive that one of those two movies will get moved, and possibly Dune Part 2 gets moved up or gets moved back. But rumor has it that the Batman 2 is also not going to be filming until early next year, because Robert Pattinson has been busy now because of the delays with the Batman 2. Like, he should have been filming and shooting that already, but it's been delayed and the scripts haven't come in yet. So Robert Pattinson's gone off and done Mickey 17. He's done a movie with Zendaya in New York. Now he's doing Christopher Nolan's Christopher Nolan's Odyssey movie, and then he's doing Dune Part 3. I'm pretty sure he's playing like a villain character in Dune Part 3, and he's going to be a big role in Dune Messiah. So, you know, pretty exciting year for Robert Pattinson. But, you know, I love that Timothée Chalamet, the Lisan al-Gaib, is still, you know, prevalent, and people are excited for Dune Messiah. I know I am. But Doomsday and the Lisan al-Gaib going up against each other, who shall win the box office on that day? I'd be fascinated. As much as I would want to see them both do well in theaters, I also don't want to see them one do well and it hurt the other, you know? Like, I would rather them both do well at different times, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But Dune Part 2 also got released too early in the year last time so that it didn't win any award consideration at by Oscars time. So I think coming out in December, I think that was their idea, like, hey, we're later in the year, then they'll remember you by Oscar season. I don't know. If that's Marvel's thoughts as well. Marvel, you're not winning an Oscar. They're too stubborn, they won't give it to you. They just won't. You know, even if the movie is deserving, they won't. I mean, if Angela Bassett didn't win for Wakanda Forever, Marvel will never win an Oscar, you know, other than costume design and score and that type of stuff, because, you know, Black Panther did deserve those, but did it win, Chadwick Boseman win for Best Actor? No. You know, like, it's a tough scene. The day that Marvel, you know, actors are getting actual consideration for their actual acting, instead of just like, oh, that was a cool movie, you know, like, that performance was great by Angela Bassett, she should have won, you know, like, if you know, you know. Jamie Lee Curtis is great, but Angela Bassett should have won. That woman did the thing. But that's it for me. Comment below, what are you excited for? Are you going to be seeing Dune Messiah or Doomsday, or will you be seeing both like Oppenheimer? Are you excited for Ironheart coming in June? Will you be seeing the movies in July? Will you be seeing Fantastic Four, Jurassic Park, Superman? Comment below your thoughts. Also, are you going to be going to check out Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning? Stay tuned for that movie review coming later this week. My name is Big Cam. Thank you guys so much for coming on by and bearing with me. I must sound a little weird because my nose is all stuffed up because I'm feeling a little sick, but thank you guys nonetheless for coming by. If you'd like to follow my other social medias, links down in the description below. Once again, my name is Big Cam. Thank you guys so much for clicking on this video, and if you made it this far, please consider liking, commenting below, subscribing if you're new, sharing this video with a friend. All great ways to help the channel grow. Thank you guys so much. I love you, and I will see you beautiful people in the next one. Peace.